Hey friends, let me ask you something. Have you ever opened a closet stuffed with things you don't use and thought, why do I even own this? Or maybe you felt guilty about spending money on something trendy, only for it to collect dust a week later. Here's the truth. Owning less doesn't mean being less. It doesn't mean sacrificing joy or standards. In fact, living with less could make your life so much more. More peace, more freedom, and more room for what really matters. But here's the kicker. Simplifying your life in a consumerist world? That's no small feat. Between Instagram ads and sales screaming, buy now, it can feel impossible to resist. But don't worry, I've got you covered with this ultimate survival guide to living with less without losing your mind. Hi, this is Emily here. Before we get started on this topic, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss any fun, practical, and totally non-judgy tips on living a simpler, happier life. Part 1 is redefine your value. You are more than your stuff. Trust me, your worth has nothing to do with what you own. Think about it. When was the last time you admired someone for their possessions, right? You probably value them for their kindness, their humor, or the way they make you feel supported, right? So why do we judge ourselves based on our stuff? Well, yes, the world loves to equate value with material things like fancy cars, designer bags, the latest phone. These are all symbols society has taught us to chase. But here's a reality check. None of it defines who you are. Let me share a quick story. Well, I once downsized my wardrobe to just 30 items. At first, I panicked. Like, what would people think? But you know what happened? No one even noticed. I realized that people cared way more about my energy and my presence than my outfits. Your value lies in your relationships, your skills, your experiences, right? And the way you make the world better. None of which can be measured by what's in your Amazon cart. So next time you are tempted to buy something to feel better, pause and ask yourself, am I enough without this? Well, you absolutely are. Part 2, escape toxic thought patterns. Well, now let's talk about the stuff inside our heads. Living with less isn't just about decluttering your home, it's about decluttering your mind. Ever catch yourself thinking, well, I have to be productive 27, or I'm a failure, or maybe if I'm not perfect, I'm letting everyone down. Yeah, I feel the same way. These thoughts are just exhausting and completely unrealistic. Society has this weird obsession with perfection, like perfect jobs, perfect bodies, perfect homes. But here's the truth. Life will never be perfect, and neither are we. And guess what? That's okay. I used to feel guilty if I didn't finish every single thing on my to-do list. One day, I left dishes in the sink overnight. Scandalous, I know. But you know what happened? Nothing. The world kept turning, and I felt more rested. I'm not saying that it's a good thing to leave dishes in the sink overnight. Of course, cleaning up before bed is ideal. But let's be real, a little imperfection now and then is just part of life. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling into guilt over something trivial, remind yourself, perfection isn't the goal, process is. Living with less is about cutting yourself some slack, both in your space and in your hand. Part 3 is practice mindful living. Alright, let's get real for a second. How often do you catch yourself doing 5 things at once, but not really enjoying any of them? Eating lunch while checking emails, planning dinner and thinking about the next week's meeting? Sounds familiar? One of the biggest lessons in living with less is learning to slow down and be present. Life's richness isn't in how much you do, it's in how much you truly experience. I have a quick example. Like a while back, I started practicing mindfulness while eating. No screens, no distractions, just me and my food. Well, at first it felt awkward. But then I realized I'd been missing out on simple joys, like noticing how good a fresh strawberry tasted. Here's a fun challenge. The next time you do something, whether it's having coffee, taking a walk, or chatting with a friend, be all in. No multitasking, no distractions, just see how it feels. Part 4 is the golden rule of shopping. Let's tackle the shopping trap. Because let's be honest, we've all been there. You're scrolling online, see something shiny, and suddenly your brain goes like, it's on sale. I will be losing money if I didn't buy it. Or the classic, I've had a rough week, I deserve this. Sounds familiar? Here's the thing, shopping isn't inherently bad. The problem arises when we buy things impulsively, thinking they will fill some void or solve all our problems. No, they usually don't. But don't worry, I've got a simple trick to help you outsmart that inner shopaholic. Before you buy anything, pause and ask yourself these 4 key questions. The first one, who am I buying this for? Is it really for you, or is it to impress someone else? Number 2, will this add value to my life, or is this just something shiny and new? 3, can I afford this without stressing or dipping into debt? 4, does this purchase align with the version of myself I want to be? Well, a while back, I got totally obsessed with this super fancy waffle maker. You know, the kind of promises perfect golden waffles every single time. Like the ones you see in those streaming brunch photos. You know what? I was this close to buying it, convinced I'd be making waffles every weekend. But then I stopped and asked myself the hard questions. Reality check, I barely have time to toast bread in the morning, let alone whip up waffle batter. That little moment of honesty saved me a good chunk of cash and a lot of counter space. And if you're still unsure about a purchase, try this 30-day rule. Wait a month and see if you're still thinking about it. Maybe it's worth considering, right? 9 times out of 10, though, you will forget about it entirely. Remember, shopping isn't about deprivation, it's about intention. When you buy less but choose better, you will find more satisfaction in the things you do own. Number 5 is handling the haters. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Not everyone will get your decision to simplify your life. Some might even give you grief about it. Here's the truth. When you start living differently, especially in a consumerist world, it can make other people uncomfortable. Your choices might unintentionally change their own habits, and not everyone knows how to handle that. If someone's genuinely curious, take it as an opportunity to share your perspective. You never know, right? You might inspire them to rethink their own approach to life. But if someone's just being judgmental or defensive, just don't waste your energy. To be honest, this happens almost every day, and even your friends and family don't necessarily understand your choices. Well, for example, a friend of mine once teased me for my capsule wardrobe. She'd be like, "Why don't you treat yourself?" Well, I smiled and replied, "I'm treating myself to less stress and more savings." End of conversation. It's not your job to justify your lifestyle to anyone. As long as it feels right for you, that's all that matters. And if the person criticizing you is someone close, it might be worth setting boundaries. Explain that while you respect their choices, you'd appreciate the same in return. Remember, simplifying your life isn't about pleasing others. It's about creating a life that feels fulfilling to you. Well, haters can hate, but you've got better things to do, right? Part 6 is focus on experiences, not things. Here's the magic of simplify your life. When you stop chasing things, you make room for what truly matters, like experiences, memories, and connection. Think about it. What's more meaningful? That expensive gadget that's excited for like 5 minutes, or a road trip with friends that leaves you laughing for years? Exactly. I remember years ago, I once had $100 to spend. Instead of buying yet another trendy decor piece, I used it to take a pottery class with a friend. Now, I have both a fun memory and a handmade bowl that makes me smile every time I see it. So experiences doesn't just bring joy in the moment. They become stories you carry with you forever. Unlike things that don't break, get outdated, or collect dust. Sure, this doesn't mean you can't buy anything ever again. It's about shifting your mindset. Instead of asking, what can I buy? Ask, what can I do? Plan a picnic, learn a new skill, visit a new place, whatever fills you up. So the next time you're tempted to splurge on something material, consider investing in a memory instead. You will thank yourself later. Part 7 is realign with your values. While life is constantly changing, you grow, your priorities shift, and what matters to you 5 years ago might not hold the same weight today. That's why it's so important to regularly check if your life aligns with your current values. So by this, you can ask yourself, 1. Does the way I spend my time and money reflect what's truly important to me? 2. Am I chasing things that don't actually make me happy? 3. Have my goals or priorities changed? Or if so, does my lifestyle need adjusting? For example, well, a few years ago, I was obsessed with having a picture-perfect home. I'd spend hours and way too much money on matching decor and trendy furniture. But as I grew more interested in sustainability, I realized that I could create a beautiful space without constantly buying new stuff. Now, I thrift, DIY, and focus on items with personal meaning. My home feels more me, and I'm way happier. Realign with your values doesn't mean you are failed, right? It means you are growing. By staying in tune with what matters most to you, well, you will find that simplifying your life becomes second nature. Part 8 is keep the momentum going. Simplify your life isn't a one and done kind of deal. It's an ongoing journey, one that gets easier the more you practice it. One of the best ways to stay motivated is to surround yourself with content and people that inspire you. Whether it's books, podcasts, YouTube channels, or a community of like-minded friends, these resources can keep you focused on your goals. The prop tip here is make a simplicity playlist of videos or podcasts you love and revisit it whenever you feel yourself splitting back into your old habit. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more inspirations. Another great strategy is to celebrate small wins. Declutter a drawer, give yourself a pat on the back, resisted an unnecessary purchase. You're killing it. These little victories add up and reinforce your commitment to a simpler life. Finally, remember why you started. Simplifying isn't about desperation. It's about freedom. Freedom to focus on what matters, to live intentionally, and to enjoy a life that feels lighter and more meaningful. And that's a journey worth sticking with. So, which step are you starting with? Let me know in the comments. And if you find this helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs it, and hit that subscribe button for more tips on living with purpose every week. See you next time. Bye.